Hi everyone, it's Moya here from A Little Morocco. This is quite exciting for me because this is the first one of our video interviews that we've done at A Little Morocco, and I'm really lucky that I have somebody who's super exciting to interview today. I'm passionate and constantly learning about Morocco and all of its culture, and it's so diverse and it has lots of layers to it. And one of those layers is the music and the dance. And one of the people that I'm going to introduce you to tonight is one of those people that I think inspires a lot of what I want to learn about Morocco and about its culture and its people. And she does a wonderful job as an advocate for that. And she is Nawarra of Morocco. And I hope I'm saying it right, Nawarra. Anyway, I just wanted to also say that I remember first seeing her dance on a YouTube clip, and she just captivated me, and she just had me hook, line and sinker. And I thought, I want to know more about this wonderful culture because I watched her dance. And so I think if you get that moved by someone, then you need to share it around. So I'm really thrilled. She is very highly regarded in the dance world for teaching about her heritage. And so I'm excited to talk to her today. We're going to ask her 5 questions. And hello and welcome, Nawarra.
Oh, what a great introduction. Moya, you're absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. How wonderful to sit down and talk to you. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you for this lovely introduction. Oh my God. Waking up this morning, we've got a morning in the UK at this time, into such a lovely words to be introduced by. Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's an absolute pleasure to be sat in your platform talking about my culture and Morocco, the authenticity and everything. So thank you for that.
You're absolutely right. We are at night time, 7 o'clock at night in Australia, and in the UK it's 10 o'clock in the morning. And when I sent a message to Nawarra, she said, okay, let's work out a time. And she was like, this is the time we're going to do it. This is how we're going to. And it's wonderful. It's come together perfectly. So I'm really blessed.
Indeed, indeed.
Now, I thought I might just start off with question number 1, which might help lead us into finding a lot more about what makes you tick and the things that drive you and you're passionate about. And so the first question that I have is, I would like to know about how you came to dance and teach specifically Moroccan style dances, and in that, your heritage and what styles are you most passionate about?
Great stuff. Right, okay. Do you have time for me? Otherwise, I'm not going to finish today.
Get as much time as you can give us.
That's great. Right, okay. Well, the lovely introduction you did is absolutely wonderful. I am of a Moroccan origin, born and bred and grown up and studied over there as well. At the age of 23-ish, I moved to the UK up north, and I settled in the UK for studies reason and obviously life reason and what have you. I carried on studying about the culture and everything. Now, when it comes into the dance, how I come to the dance in Moroccan culture, Morocco as a North African country, and it's actually classed as a borders between Africa, Arabs, and Europe. So when you look at Africa's map, Morocco is actually the top, Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. So we, the North African, we look at ourselves as a borders between Africa and Europe. So our culture is diverse because our history have seen a lots of changes, lots of impacts from Europe and from Africa and from Middle East and from Islam and from. So our culture is rich, and the way we've grown up in everyday life, when it comes into dance, when it comes into music, is part of our everyday life. So how did I come to the dance? I was grown up in a dancing house. I was grown up in a musical house. Not because we are specializing in music or we are specializing in the dance, but because every single person my time grown up in the time I grown up in Morocco, we are all like that. Music is every day at home. Chanting is every day at home. Clapping is every day. But in a way, I was grown up dancing, as dancing was part of it. And obviously, doing my study and going to uni, I did drama. And part of the study drama, and one of the main things when you study drama is actually either singing or dancing. So I chose the dancing. I got a bit further into it. I joined the Conservatoire de Casablanca, which is the musical and dance institution in Casablanca. Studied a bit more in that. I got myself introduced a lot about folkloric dance, the North African, I should say, rather than Moroccan, because there's a lot of things we share as a North African countries. And I got my master in English literature after that. Then I moved into the UK.
Wow.
Obviously, studied. I mean, I moved into the UK in 1996, so there you go. I'll tell you how long I've been over here. Obviously, study never ends, research never ends. When I came to the UK, even though I had the background knowledge, I had the base, I had everything, I still had to learn from scratch the way Westerners can hear our music or got introduced around our music. And there were lots of controversial things about North African music, education side of it, things like Shikhat, things like Shabi, things. So lots of, let me word it this way, westernized, and let's be, lots of wrong information in between, basically, And I had to introduce myself to that world there and getting to know all that, and then started sharing what I've actually learned in Morocco, or sharing what I've grown up seeing in Morocco, sharing what I've seen other local stories from other local dancers and teachers, and things dance related with all the obviously in the UK and abroad, I should say. And then again, it started from there. Now, being a 70s generation as a North African, how am I going to say, woman or person, or, we've grown up with Egyptian movies. So we've grown up watching Egyptian dances, Egyptian movies, Egyptian folk dance, Egyptian weddings, all sorts, everything's on telly, on the media. It was from Egypt. So the Egyptian movies or the Egyptian media in general, were prevailing in North Africa, not just Morocco. But like I said, as a 70s girl, I've grown up watching those. So watching and speaking Egyptian, it's great. It's there. But dancing on Moroccan was very rarely known. Was people were referring to it as African dance rather than Moroccan dance. They were referring to it as, oh, nice, unusual. What's that? So there was a lack of understanding and knowledge. So I remember one day years ago, I just got up just out of blue, and I did. I mean, sometimes I do a bit of I love Fifi Abdul, and I love the style, this dance that presents the ballady style in Egypt. And I did that, and after that, I followed it with Moroccan. But the feel when I was doing the Moroccan and the feedback, and how people reacted to that, it was just amazing. And in there, I thought, hang on a minute here. People like Sharkey, which is the Egyptian side. The African or the North African is there, but because it's not being seen and shared properly, maybe that's why people are lacking that. So I thought, right, I'm going to study a bit more. I'm going to get a bit more knowledge, and I'm going to share it the best I can. And this is how it happened, and this is how I ended up doing it.
Wonderful. It's not as well known as some of the other styles of Middle Eastern and African styles of dance. So it's really wonderful to be able to see it. Yeah, and it's
absolutely. And it's, do you know what, as well, Moya, for us as immigrants dancers, as people that left the country, to live in Europe for whatever reason, it's a pride for us. It's a pride. When you see it on stage in London or in Manchester or in Liverpool, when you see those big multicultural festivals are actually taking North African music, either Gnawa, either Shabi, the Berber, and you see it on the stage. It really, you cannot believe the emotions,
Yeah.
we go
Full of
through. And it's just
pride.
like, it absolute pride.
Yeah.
And it enlightens our, our tradition and our culture. And you think, Alhamdulillah, thank God, this is not dying. This is going to be carried on, you know. And another thing as well, you see, now then, I mean, for the last three, 5 to 3 years, recent years, you started seeing people coming in into knowing what Kabyle dance is in Algeria, what Mizwedin dance is in Tunisia, what Moroccan dancing is diverse as well. So you do see certain Western groups trying and dancing it as well. And that's a pride as well, because that's to us is like, wow, it's
That's
it's
good.
not a belly dance, which is, we don't call it belly dance, and it's not the glittery side of it and all that. It's a folkloric. There's no glitter to it. There's no sequence to it. It's folklore. It's just a normal, and it's the dance and it's the energy,
There's
and it's
an
amazing.
authenticity about folkloric that is it's really it's raw, and it
Yeah,
can be so rich to watch. I know there's a lot
absolutely.
of people who are very sensitive about appropriation.
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you feel about that? And that's not one of my 5 questions, but
Do you know something? It works both ways. When I first started speaking English, I made mistakes. I used the wrong words in the wrong context. I did a lot of hiccups in writing. I did a lot of, it worked both ways. But I had people that were surrounding me, including my ex-teachers, including people, friends, including, people I encounter. They've corrected me and they had me, they sort of pointed me to the right direction. Now, for me, when I see those younger dancers or dancers in general trying to dance folklore, yes, it might not be in its perfection, but it's a trial. So we have to support them. We have to, direct them. We have to share with them where we got our knowledge from.
mm,
Share with them things where they can study more. Because don't forget, it's not a matter of wearing a galabia and a bit of a belt and go and do it. No, it doesn't stop there. It's just, I mean, not everybody can afford, obviously, traveling, especially nowadays, people can't travel anyway. So,
yeah,
but I mean, yeah, but thanks to the internet, thanks to the websites and other websites, people can get references. People can look. People, as long as they just look into the right thing and they can correct themselves and they can,
mm,
use or understand what can be. Because don't forget, Arabs in general, North African or non-North, we speak emotions. So our emotions is with our hands. Oh, hello, and you get, that
yeah,
that reflects that reflects in our dance. So the dance is with hands gestures. With that, do you know what I mean? And every single thing has got a meaning. So for me, if those dancers are willing to learn it and are wanting to learn it, yes, they might not do it correctly first time. They might not do it perfect, but we'll encourage them, we'll show them where to look, we'll show them where to go, and if they're willing to travel, why not send them to the local teachers? They don't have to speak Arabic, and in the dancers they don't have to speak foreign language to teach them, but it's the body that can speak and they can follow. And for me, it's not a problem as long as it doesn't get titled. It's authentic for the coming generation to see it and think that's what it is,
okay.
then that is fine.
It's about an
So
inspiration that comes from a place of opening the door and taking a
yeah,
journey towards that sort of finding out.
absolutely.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
absolutely.
And so, whereabouts in Morocco did you grow up in terms of being sort of influenced most heavily? I know that each region has its own cultural style and cultural sort of livelihood and way they like to live and their arts and crafts. And so, whereabouts are you? Were you?
I was born in Casablanca. I was born and bred in Casablanca.
Ah,
I've grown up and studied in Casablanca. But my dad is from Fez.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
so all my childhood, and this is my, maybe that's why there is that trance element in, there's a slight trance element in the dance I share, which is the hair
Yeah,
sway,
yeah, okay.
flow down and all that. And that's, maybe that's where it's coming from. But when we were kids, yes, we were during school holidays, sorry, during the school terms and all that, we're in Casablanca. But when you used to hit July, we used to pack and go to fairs to stay 2 months in my granddad's house,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
that was in fairs. So
Mm.
I do have the two big elements, and in fairs where my granddad's
Casablanca is
house are.
crazy, but Fez is, oh, yeah.
Fairs
Completely
is
different.
absolutely no, because very much indeed. I mean, Casablanca has gone very crazy recently. Casablanca was never crazy more than 10 years, 15 years ago. I
Wow.
have to admit that. Yeah, it's never been as crazy as it is now. Why? Because obviously commercial side, cosmopolitan city, lots of investors came in, lots of national investors, not international. I mean, people from Agadir, people from up north. Yeah, they brought them in Casa so they can create jobs because there's a high, very high. I don't know if you know much about. There's a high unemployment going on, high, so they brought these investors, national one, and created lots of companies, manufacturers as well. So Casablanca never used to be as hectic as it has been the last 10 years because of the change. But when it comes into fairs, even though fairs is small, it is hectic in its own, with its own small alleyways, ups and downs, and all that. But what I used to like about fairs is because it's obviously imperial city with such a rich history, with the architects, with ceramics, with lots of handcraft. So if you want the real leather, it's fairs. If you want the real wool, it's fairs. If you want the Quranic side, understanding about the Quranic schools, because we don't have lots of Middle Eastern that came to the School of Fairs, like and studied Quran there and then went back with that. So Fairs has lot to offer. But what I used to like from my childhood, I remember that very, very well. I mean, it's like, just yesterday when we used to get together, my grandpas and my grandma at the time, she used to get ladies from the area, and they used to do what we call, I mean, we call it in Morocco an afternoon tea. Now, an afternoon tea in an English life is dinner, is when they sit down at 5, 6 o'clock to have the dinner. They call it an afternoon tea. An afternoon tea in Morocco, it is same time, it's 4, 5 o'clock, but it's an actual tea with a teapot, with a mint tea
Yeah,
and sweet.
very sweet.
Yeah, and you'll get 5, 6 women, and they get together. It's like I would classify it as the English life, going to the pub and having a chat and having a drink, and
It's
this is how
social
they do
hour,
it.
happy hour.
Absolutely, yes, happy hour. So they'll get together and they'll have the mean tea, and every single woman will talk. I mean, some of them talk about the in-law family, some of them talk about problems with the kids, some of them talk about problems with the husband, some of them talk about problems with the other neighbor, the new neighbor that just moved in, God knows what they do. And you'll see them, if there's a social element, everyone sharing their problems and everyone finding solution for their problems.
Mhm.
And in the and after the conversations and discussions and the help, what they do, they'll just start either singing either Mawal, they start singing blessing, Alhamdulillah, blessings about, blessings in general for that. And you'll see them with the drum, with the little tambourine, arija, or even though with the tray where they put the cups of tea. They'll twist it around and they clap with the 2 spoons. And you'll
Really?
get the two.
I haven't seen that.
Do you
Okay.
know what? Absolutely amazing, and absolute amazing. And
So
that,
things like that
what
are the very intimate moments, and they're probably
very,
the moments that as outsiders
very
we don't get to see.
And you know, sadly, stuff like that, you don't see it nowadays, even though when you go back to Morocco, you don't see families. Families, obviously, younger generation came in place. They've all modern, they've all got flats, they've all moved on, they've all got, you know, but that feeling there in those areas, those older areas in Fez, absolutely outstanding. And like I said, there's a social element to it. There's a drumming, there's a yawn, there's happiness, there's joy, there's sadness. But that afternoon tea in that Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon, usually used to be Fridays after prayers, you know, when people go for prayers over lunchtime.
Yeah.
They'll settle their kids at home and then they'll get into my grandma's house, get together, what's happening in your house, what's happening in your house, what's happening in your house, and they share problems and, you know, absolute fantastic. And that's something, like I says,
You
it's
miss that?
here, it'll never go,
Oh,
it'll
that's
never go.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's lovely.
So yeah, no, it's like I says, it is part of the dance and the culture, and you know,
Mm.
it's part of everyday life.
Yeah,
So
with
yeah.
the moment of tea, and when tea comes out and when you're offered tea, it's almost like a religion in itself. So yeah.
It is. I mean, I think now then, looking at Morocco from a different angle, I think that usage of tea has changed slightly. But you know, it is. That's what Morocco is known by, is mint tea,
Mm,
basically. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to sort of go next to something that you've become quite well known for, and that is your Fanoon Festival. And it's turned into something that is also a dance camp where you take people on a tour to a location in Morocco, and they're immersed. And when I say immersed, they literally are immersed into the culture of Morocco, which I find is wonderful. And rather than sort of seeing Morocco on the surface, you get to
Yeah,
really sort of
getting
dig in
into
and
in depth.
yeah. So can you explain, this again is one of those multi-layered questions, but can you explain a little bit about the Fanoon Festival and your dance camps, please? And I'm hoping, I almost had an opportunity to join one of your camps in Essaouira a few years ago, and I missed out on the opportunity for a lot of reasons. Partially I was very sick at the time, but I look forward to being able to travel. I know everyone looks forward to being able to travel, but I look forward to be able to go and visit one of your dance camps very soon. But
That's great. And you'll be go on.
sorry, I just said I'll let you explain it and then I interrupted you.
It's fine. No, I would love to see you in Morocco, Moya, because I know how strongly you are driven by the culture, by the history, by people, by the architects, by everything. And the great thing about it, look at that wonderful door behind you and those wonderful lamps. I think your house is more Moroccan than mine, I should say.
I tell you, I'm smitten. I grew up, I'm probably sort of digressing, but I grew up loving architecture, loving the process of building. And when I studied architecture, we studied a lot of things about beautiful Moroccan architecture, and especially love the way that riads are built and how they're all sort of inwardly facing into this beautiful courtyard that's open to the sky. And I just fell in love with it. It's absolutely divine. And I know it sort of stems from a Moorish type of sort of architecture, but that's what's so fabulous about Morocco, is that it's this beautiful melting pot of all these different cultures that have come together, and it's almost like they've picked all the best parts of it and said, we'll take this and we'll take that. And you're there and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful place. But I'll get
Absolutely.
to what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Riyadh, it's one of those. Sometimes you go through the little small alleyways and you think, oh my God, where this is leading me to? Is it, you know, some sort of
Tiny
rotten
little.
place? And as soon as you walk in from a small, teeny, tiny house door, you'll see this big, massive house up into the sky. And it's like heaven. No, it is. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, and I think the Moroccans as a nation are very creative in that side, because you do see riots in Syria. Syria has got a courtyard houses as well, and I think that's where it's originally came from. But the only thing, because Syria is more of a, you'll see the simple courtyard, which is the rooms, and the middle courtyard, obviously open to the sky, little teeny tiny fountains and stuff like that. So it's not been how am I going to say, engraved, the little ceramics, the little, designs they do on the gyps,
Yeah,
the
the
little
little
funny things.
details. Mm.
The details, the little details. But obviously Moroccan, have gone into that due to what they've seen and lived historically and what have you. In terms of coming back to the afternoon, yes, I mean, after dancing all these years and being, most places, thank God for that, most places in the world, um, and I found I struggled because I wanted people to learn more folkloric. I've got a very strong flair about folkloric in general, but Moroccan folklore is something that's in the blood, it's in the genes. So I wanted to share, and I can't teach everything by myself, and you can't sometimes travel out everywhere, and you can't sometimes, so the whole idea came in from creating the scam. It was before as a cultural trip. At first I was doing a cultural trips, about, right, let's go to Morocco, let's do a cultural week, visit Berber villages, see the city, see a bit of a historical side, do a little bit of a dance afternoon, spend weekend with Berber families on the mountain, say for example, a one day or. And this is how it first started, just as a cultural trip. Then after that, I thought, well, do you know what? These cultural trips and all that, then people, yeah, fair enough. They do have a good time. They come in, they see the city, or they see the places, but it's not giving them an understanding about the folkloric dance. It doesn't. They can watch it. Sometimes you bring the band so they can watch it, but it's not learning. It's not knowing how it how it how it is basically. I've come up with the idea with created a dance camp, an intensive dance camp, under the name Fanoon. And the name Fanoon in Arabic is arts.
Mm.
So the word Fanoon is arts in Arabic. So you must speak in Arabic, I say Fanoon, that means arts. Okay. So this is a week of arts, a week of dance arts, Fanoon dance camp. Yeah, a week of dance, the thing. And basically, can't take people to same place every year, Marrakesh or Essaouira or Tangier or. So I chose, because Morocco is very diverse. Every single region has got something completely different to offer from the other region. So every year we do it on a different region in the country, in Morocco. So we've done nearly most of the cities, um, and during the week people tend to learn. Obviously, there's a Sharky element, there's the Oriental, because like I said, as a 70s girl, I still grown up in Tarab, I still grown up in Egyptian style, in Baladi, in Saidi, and all that. So there is that during the week, but there is a stronger impact on the Moroccan folklore dance. So, say for example, when we went to Agadir, they were mainly Berber.
Mm.
So there were the element of Egyptian dance style, but there were a strong presence of the Berber dancing. And Berber dancing was done by obviously Berber local dancers. That's showing them, explaining to them, explaining the line, how they present themselves, the moves they use, the things they can do, the things they shouldn't be doing, and all that and all that. When we did it in Fez, then we had the trance dancers coming in, the showing the position, the way you trance, the way you move your head, the way you move your shoulder, and all that. Casablanca, it was brilliant in Casablanca, because Casablanca, like I said, as big as it is, it's got every single thing of a folklore. So we did the Sahrawi dance, or the Southern dance, the Sahara dance, or the desert dance. We did the Berber dance, we did the Shabi dance. So it was more of an impact of, Moroccan folklore sort of dance style on these camps. And you know what? The feedback or the outcome of these camps, it's just been absolutely phenomenal year after year.
Mm.
People I found that people are thirsty in knowing other stuff. So the dancers are very much eager in knowing a lot more. And some of them, bless them, they save all year round so they can come to these trips, so they can see, they can experience, they can film, they can do everything. And obviously, dressing up and, of photos and videos and all that and all that.
All part of the
So yeah, for noon
immersion.
dance camp,
Mm.
absolutely, yeah. Canoe dance camp certainly sort of, basically, kicked off in a way, in a very, very good, positive way. And it's still going. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if this is still going to go ahead or not because it's due in September.
I
So
think
I don't,
I think it's yeah, everybody doesn't know really what's happening from one week to the next, and we just we all are in the same boat, and we're all praying for, yeah, the world to come back to normal. So
abs-
yeah,
absolutely. So we don't know. But I mean, next year I am planning to do two trips, two Finoon trips. One's going to be a shorter one or a smaller one, and that would be in April time. And the second one will be in September. That's the big one. And there will be Agadir, because Agadir has
thinking
lots
maybe
of.
we can coordinate something with a little Morocco to do something so that we coincide, and maybe we have a little tour group coming at the same time. That would be beautiful, but we'll work on
Fantastic.
it.
Yes, yes,
What do we
yes.
say? Inshallah.
Inshallah, indeed. Inshallah, indeed. Yeah. So
That's
yeah, no, that's
beautiful.
that's
And so, how long have you been running the dance camps and the festival?
the Finoon Dance Camp, right? The cultural holidays. I've been doing all these in general for about 40 years,
Wow.
every single year. So it's not a stand up and go. So it has been going for some time. The cultural holiday lasted about 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And every year was different because the elements of the culture, I think when I did the cultural trips, it was mainly to get people to merge with locals, spend time with locals, learn cooking, spending a night with no water, nothing, and go and get the
And
water from the wells. And
that may not appeal to some people, but to actually be living as you would if you were living there is the most
yes,
powerful thing, to be
of course,
immersed in that culture. And
of course,
it puts you out of your comfort zone, but it's a magical experience because you get to see
absolutely.
and be and do what they're doing, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. And another thing as well is treasuring what we have, is
Mm.
valuing what we've got, and we don't know it until we miss it. Imagine one day with no water, imagine one day with no electricity, no internet. You'd
Mm.
be tearing your hair out. Well, I would. I'd be tearing my hair out. Oh my God, there's no electricity. I can't get Imagine you living one day without anything like that, and you treasure more what we've got. We value more what we've got.
I think that's what I take away from the arts and crafts a lot as well, is that they make something so beautiful out of nothing. It's like,
Yes.
how do they do this? And yet we get everything at our disposal, and we're
Yeah.
not able to do that. But the fact that they can make so many beautiful things from virtually nothing is
Absolutely.
fascinating.
Absolutely, and the simplicity as well. The simple things in life they
Mhm.
treasure. You know what I mean? Simple things. Those people have nothing. Mountains. What do they have? Maybe a sofa, a bit of a two cushions where they sit and sleep on it as well, because maybe
Mhm.
there is no beds. Water. If the water a big jug empties, you've nowhere to get the water still. You still have to walk about half an hour and bring back you know, it's not, like you said, it might not be, but for someone adventurous, yes, they do appeal. They did, I mean, at the time, they did appeal to so many. But like I says, my drive is about the dance. My drive was about share the folklore, share the diversity, share how in a small country, in a small land, how diverse we are. We have the Moorish, we have the Jewish, we have the Arabs, we have the Berbers, we have the Amazirs. All these, they've made a big impact in Moroccan life. And to share that in the dance, in everything, that was the whole idea of the camp. So the camp was going for about 12 years, and touch wood, it's still going. It's still very well going. So yeah,
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
going to keep on it. We're going to keep advertising it. We're going to keep pushing and bringing people in.
Mm.
willing to come with us, obviously.
Well, I
But
think if anything, I can see there is a fascination that's growing year by year with Morocco. And so
yes,
it's becoming this really almost a mecca for people to want
yeah,
to find out more about this place, because it is, I
absolutely.
think, a melting pot, I think.
Yeah,
And it's almost like going to a million different places in one. So
yeah,
yeah. Can I also ask you a little bit about how you're coping with the coronavirus impact for you, for your teaching and your being able to convey your lessons to people? Because I know I see you pop up in my social media feed with classes and workshops, and because I'm on the other side of the world, it's a little bit tricky for me to dial in. But I might add some links to maybe some of the ways people can seek out your classes, if that's okay, on my website. But if you can
absolutely fine.
let
Yeah.
people know what you're doing to stay connected, not only with your dance community, but maybe with your distant family in Morocco as well. I know you mentioned
Yeah,
your mum is with you at the moment.
she is indeed. Yes, yes. My mom's with me in here, which is thank God for that, you know. But I mean, obviously, I still got brothers and sisters. Do you know what it is? I think the music or the entertainment industry in general is the most hit during this pandemic. So I think we were the ones that got hit very badly in a
Yeah.
way. And um, you know, I had jobs, I had flights booked, I had plans, I had all sorts, you name it, it was on the list. And unfortunately, it's all gone.
Yeah.
And now all the events I was supposed to be in up till December 2020 have all been cancelled.
Oh,
So obviously it's a big hit. We still have charges to pay. We still have all sorts to pay. I was never a digital person. I was never a computer person. I was
you're
a
much better
person with
than me.
I was a person with a rucksack and a bag, and you know, my passport in my one hand, my flight ticket on the other, and just go and just do this or travel around, even within the UK, up north, south, Scotland, everywhere. You know, just in my little teeny tiny car, driving all over and teaching here and there. But obviously, because everything's been cancelled, and you know, people are still wanting to dance, people are still wanting to learn, people are still wanting, you know, I had to bang my head across the wall and I had to learn how to use, obviously, Zoom, all the digital for the communication and teaching. And you know what? At first, it's scary, but I think after that, you'll just think, how amazing is this? Look at us, UK based, Australia
Yeah,
based.
it's
And I had people from Mexico, I had people from Russia, I had people from Ukraine. And when I sat down and I thought about it, I thought, there's no flight that's been delayed in here. I'm not having headache. I'm actually sat in my own little teeny tiny room and I'm teaching. And I look, I've got Mexico, I've got Ukraine, I've got Israel, I've got, you know, all these people in my little TV and they're learning dance.
I know, it's wonderful. It's magic. It's great. And you're right. I guess we have to make the most of what we do have again.
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
silver lining to the cloud that's hanging over us at the moment. But
yeah.
I also wanted to, I know last time we were talking, and I might let people in on a little secret. This is our interview Mark two, because the first interview we did, I had a little glitch with my laptop. And so we won't say what happened, but it wasn't plugged in. And so we've had to try it again. And so this is our interview number two. And in the first one, I got let in on a little secret, and it was about an article that you were writing. And I know this might be something you might want to keep secret still, but it was very fascinating because it's something that is very synonymous with Moroccan dance. Yeah.
It is very much indeed, yes. After all these years doing this dance, and obviously the term shikat, and that's the shikat dance that I'm known by, and that seems to be causing me all sorts of different troubles and all that. It is for the first time. There will be an article properly written about Shikata dance, the history, the culture, the message they're trying to share, and it's written in English.
Can you,
Not taken,
for the sake of people who might not know, are you able to let them know a little bit about what a shikat is?
of course, yeah. Right. One of the Moroccan dance styles, there is a style called Shikat dance, and Shikat, the word Shika is the boss, or the malema, or the lady chief, or the lady in charge, or the lady wise, the lady that knows and has views and can actually, sort of give um, talk about reasons, talk about, good things, basically.
It's a very strong woman, quite a
Very,
strong position.
very much indeed. Yeah, very strong women and, very well respected. Right. Now, the word shikat itself, it's a plural. It's the plural. So the singular or the singular word is shika, and that's the stronger woman, the leader. And the word shikat is the girls with her. And these women, they sang poetry, Moroccan poetry.
Mm.
So these poetries have reflected the history of Morocco. Some of them have reflected certain periods or certain historical period in Morocco. Obviously, Morocco is a monarchy, and we've gone from one king to another, to another, to another, to another. So it's from and they emerged between late 70s, 18th centuries, and some of them some of the historical side, it actually says that certain shikas that emerged in the 12th and the 13th century, but there is no such trace about at that time yet. But what all we know, the shikas that were present in 17th, 18th century. Basically, they sang about, like I said, poetry, about life, about nostalgia, about happiness, about freedom, about sadness, about anything in life. Yeah, and in the end, there is a dance, and that dance is when the girls, the shika does not dance, but the girls with her, they do the dance, and their dance, it finishes the story what the shika's singing about. So it's all linked together. So you'll see a presence, a group of women all lined up together with one leader, singing the poetry, telling stories, whatever she's revealing, whatever she's saying, and the girls with her in the end of her storytelling, they'll come to do the dance, and that dance finishes the story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a
But the
huge, huge,
dancers aren't the shikat. It's the
yes,
singer. Ah, very interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
So
kind of maybe a misconception is that she's doing everything. She's doing the
no,
dancing and
no,
singing.
no. The Shika does not dance. The Shika just sings. Just sings the poetry. Just tells the story. Just
Mm.
tells about a certain period in, excuse me, in certain things. Just but it goes with her. Finishes that by the dance, by this, by that. So anyway, so that's a style, and this the shikat is where the shabi, because
Mm.
shabi is a cocktail of everything. There's a shikat and there's shabi. Shabi is the cocktail of everything. Some of the shabi is taken from shikat, so shikat is the origin. Shabi is taken from tarab. Shabi is taken from this. So the shabi is the big thing, but is the cocktail of every single thing. Whereas shikat is one style, singing and dancing.
Okay.
So that has been very much misrepresented abroad. There's been no article written about it. There's been
Wow.
nothing. So well, I mean, it took me, it's not an easy job. It
Where
took me
do you
quite a few
find
years.
the shikat? Where do you find a shikat? Will she be singing at weddings, or will she be singing at? Is she paid for her singing, or?
Of course, right. You see the right. She can't you see them in festivals, in Moroccan festivals, in the dance and music festival in Marrakesh. You'll see lots of them. There's a difference in shikats themselves as well. There's a shikat that actually just entertains, and
Um,
that's not what we're reflecting to. and there's the shikas that actually sings and they mean stuff by their singing, okay? And this is the one I'm referring to. And you see them on YouTube. There's names, bigger names for, people that can refer to, and they can watch on YouTube, and you can listen, and they can watch the dances in the end. And obviously, we see the Atlas shikas, the Berber Atlas shikas, and mainly done for the entertainment, for the dancing, mainly nowadays the touristic side as well, if that makes sense. So they get used for the touristic side. But like I said, that's slightly sort of different subject. But the shikat or shikat al-house that I'm actually talking about are shikat, are the masters, are the singers, are the storytellers, are the one that, shared, proper stories, real life thing. And obviously the dancing is very mesmerizing in the end, only if every single song, the actual dancing. So the article, like I said, it wasn't easy to write it and gather it all together. All the information's been written there, and it will be shared soon, and I will share with you the link as well if you want to share it with anybody that's willing to read, or wanting to know a bit more about this culture. So so it will be shared soon. I think it's September is coming out.
Ah,
But
ah,
yeah,
good.
it's about history and everything. So yeah.
We'll definitely provide a link on the website if that's okay with you.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Look, it's wonderful and fascinating to talk to you about this side of the of Morocco, its culture
Yeah.
and everything. And even though you're in the UK, it's a real treat to be able to find out some insights about how you're inspired by your upbringing, and also seeking out and teaching others about the culture as well through dance
Thank you.
and through the singing. So it's really wonderful. I know
Absolutely.
we're fairly new on the scene, and so because it's mostly about homewares and rugs and things like that, and I think it is really important to have context. And so for me, I really want people to understand the authenticity behind having a rug that's made in the Atlas Mountains, or it gives people more of an understanding and appreciation for something that they might have in their home, which was once upon a time in Morocco somewhere, and someone has lovingly made with their hands. So yeah, I really appreciate you adding to that, the layers. So yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
I'm very, very bad at this technology. I'm going in and out. But is there anything that you want to add in terms of what you see for both what you hope to teach people about Moroccan folkloric dancing and dances from North Africa? I know they're all your passions, but is there anything you want to see happen, and some of your aspirations and how you feel about that?
Absolutely, yes. I'd like to see more folkloric dance on stages. I'd like to see more folkloric dance on the festivals. I'd like a recognition of the North African presence in every single dance festival. And people are taken by the two pieces of costume to wear as, an Oriental dancer, and the glitter and the beads and all that. But which is nice, which is...
I interrupt you. I feel that you have been a tipping point for that groundswell to have more of a presence, because maybe we didn't know of very much until you came on the scene. So it's like, yeah, you've made a big impact on that. And so seeing you being invited to all the festivals is wonderful. So for people who don't know much about Rakshaki and Oriental dance, having you being present teaching at a festival is a real treat. So I hope to see you in lots of other festivals with your beautiful folkloric teaching. But continue, sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Sorry, did I phase out of you, did I?
A little bit, yes. I just couldn't hear you going, and for some reason you've gone. Sorry, would you kindly just repeat that? Yeah.
Just expressing how you were at the forefront of that groundswell towards people having more of a want to learn folkloric dances, because I see that you've been teaching and invited as a guest and a lot of the big festivals. So yeah, it's wonderful to see that impact. So well done, and I hope to see more of it.
Thank you, and it really means a lot. I mean, I have got a mad think about my origin, and we are who we are. I mean, look at, I mean, even my daughter's 13 years of age. I mean, you know, yeah, she was born in here and she's grown up here, but she's she's not, you know, she's British, obviously by national and all that, but she's not going to be in English, is she? She's always going to be Moroccan, and I will always be Moroccan. So, you know, there is that in our blood, and we can't take it. We have to be proud of who we are. We've got lots to share. We've got a lot to give. We've got a lot to um, we've got a lot of nice things, regardless what you hear on the media and all that and all that. We've got lots of nice culture behind, nice history, nice people, you know, behind us. You know, we ought to share abroad. We ought to share with everybody. So yeah, I'd love to see more dancing. I'd love to see more folkloric, more Moroccan. I'd love to see lots of, you know, lots of things more to be done about Moroccan dance in the abroad. Uh, you know, and just keep dancing, keep that. Look at it on the lockdown. On the lockdown, when you look at the lockdown, what kept people going is those dancing clips everybody was sharing. Regardless, it doesn't have to be Moroccan. Any dance, you know. So just keep dancing, keep doing what you guys like, and just if you like something, just study more about it. Go a bit further. Hopefully, after the lockdown and when we come off all this quite nice and clean, come and visit the countries. Go and travel. Go and travel. How much would you spend on a night out? Try to save some money. Come and see other countries. Introduce yourself to other cultures. Sit down with other people. Go to trips. Go to organized trips if you're not daring to travel on your own. You know, there's so many things going around everywhere around the world. So get together and just enjoy your life, enjoy dancing, and that's all I can say.
Oh, that's a wonderful way to end our lovely interview today. I know I probably asked you much more than 5 questions, but I do appreciate it so much. I could talk to you for a long time, but it's getting late here, and you've probably got a million things to do. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview twice with me. And I really, really do look forward to meeting you in person.
So am I.
And, you make me, yeah, really passionate about what you do through the passion that you have for what you do. So, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for having me. Thank you for having the flair about Moroccan. Thank you for bringing Morocco into Australia. Thank you for making Little Morocco, and I do hope to see it as a big, big, massive, huge Morocco. Keep going. Keep doing what you are doing. This is an absolute fantastic intake from you. Good luck with it, and I wish you really all the best. And guys, if you get a chance to get any rugs, lamps or anything like that, go for it. Honestly, you're not going to be disappointed. It's a really, it's handcraft, it's handly made, it's purely done. And you know, to get someone to actually bear it from Morocco to Australia, which is not around the corner, it's such a distance. It's absolutely amazing. So well done, Moya.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A huge hug from me down under to you to the other side of the world. Thank you so much. And I look forward to talking with you again sometime.
Same thing again, sweetheart.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
bye.
You, sweetheart. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
For joining us too, and we'll add some links so you can keep in touch and you can follow Nawarra. I say it wrong, don't I? Nawarra.
It's Nawarra, that's it.
Nawarra. And I do really hope that one day we can have our paths cross, and maybe we can have a little Morocco join the Fanoon dance camp over in Morocco. That would be beautiful. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.